just need a place to begin. Come on man, let's just pass the time. From amphetamine to weed, all it takes is a drive. It's alright, I got you this time. Let's just pick up something quick, I want out of my mind. And life's just a race against time. Try and make something pretty before I die. If I can make a dime off being honest, then I think I'll be fine. Stop stealing written on a little piece of paper. Cold turkey's what I thought. I said goodbye to my neighbor. I'm a little frantic, can't pull you no favors, but I'll smoke all of your weed and leave you with no papers. My car last week and walked out with a new scar. I got people looking out for me, I guess I set a new bar. Never get that hurt, I guess you call that good luck. But if I'm writing honestly, I've never felt so stuck. I've been looking for work, but can't get past the loading truck. And school's just not for me, I'm in enough debt from my other bluffs. I can remember the taste of your bottom lip. I know that sounds a little messed up and sick. Can't stop reliving all the things that we did. You probably hate me for being such a stupid spoiled kid. I've tried to move on, write some new songs, but nothing's ever as good as a past. Could be my last chance to enhance my way of life, remove your heart and my mask. But I'm still leaving, sometimes seeing graduation with the rest of our class. And how I sat there with your mother, wondering if young relationships last. Our I just keep calling on the help of my peers, but their success makes me distressed. Things will be better when I disappear, bouncing from city to state. Nothing feels great, I'm a committed disgrace. If I could get up, hold my chin up, confidence is just a bluff for the weak. Might take a peek in my self-pity to realize it's selfishness for the meek. Just take these pills, it makes it better, but withdrawals will make you seize up and tweak. You gotta buy it every month, we change the brand, it's more expensive this week. I'll hold my chin up, keep this grin up like my mother, she can worry like me. But if I have you, life is worth it, love is more than a contagious disease. I think of you, I think of me, a family, is this another pipe dream? But if these dreams mean anything, I'm gonna think whatever I want to think. I just can't convince myself to look. Why can't I be strong in the place where you read your books? I just can't rely on happenstance. Didn't say goodbye before you died, I should've took that chance. But you'll never leave me, no, my heart is bleeding, and I know this feeling's not fleeting. Your hugs were the best thing, just wrapped up in your strength. I'd give up to be there right now. I just want you back, we all want that. I just wish that you hadn't forgotten. I hate this disease, I hate human beings. We fall apart before we get broken. I just can't believe you're not here with me. We should be out back sitting underneath that willow tree. Talk and I'd be listening. I didn't take the time to read your mind before you forgot me. Okay. But you'll never leave me, no, my heart is bleeding, and I know this feeling's not fleeting. Your hugs were the best thing, just wrapped up in your strength. I'd give up to be there right now. I just want you back, we all want that. I just wish that you hadn't forgotten. I hate this disease, I hate human beings. We fall apart before we get broken. Lock myself in my room to listen to voices recorded. Don't walk outside to avoid being avoided. This feeling that comes with not having a purpose. If I find something soon, maybe I won't feel so worthless. I've always felt this rhythm, but I thought it'd be pointless. Playing music that's for rich folks, not a prophet of poignance. But pointless is a feeling that comes over me often. Though I keep going for a fear of not affording my own coffin. I know I sound sad, but I've got to be honest. writing these songs helps me change, then I have to. Not even for me, but everyone that I matter to. I've got this feeling life won't always be like this. My dad said to me, it's your calling, your purpose. Walking through this life like a man with no shadow. Always by myself, just trying to find my way.
Howdy, everybody. It is the SchuBros, and we are coming to you live on a Thursday night. It is the 29th of October, which means it's about to get spooky, because this is Thriller Nights. So, Mr. Kyle, first birthday with the baby, or first Halloween with the baby. What you going to be doing, buddy?
So Saturday, I'll be hunting with Dad, but after that, we've got matching shirts and stuff to go. We're probably going to walk around the neighborhood once or twice real quick with the baby, do a little trick-or-treating, get enough candy to then come home and then pass out to the rest of the community. Kind of joking on that because I already have like 3 huge bag of candy from Sam's, so don't really need to go get any more, but definitely want to take the little girl out and let her be seen and have some fun. And
well, yeah, it's first Halloween, right?
Take pictures.
So any sneak peeks on the costume, or are we just gonna have to wait till day of?
Well, it was a little pumpkin outfit, but she was significantly smaller than expected. Like when we were like 3 weeks out, they were telling us she was already going to be 7 pounds or something. So we were expecting her to be 8 pounds or so when she was born, and she came out 6 pounds 12 ounces. So significantly smaller than expected, and because of that, the outfit we had bought was way too big. So then Maggie went and bought like a little black cat costume that matches our black cat. So she's like over the moon with the fact that she's gotten a costume that matches her own pet.
There you go. So yeah, well, I mean, we went to Spirit Halloween this year and spent all the money. I mean,
I was gonna say,
just spent all the money. I'll tell you what though, when you see Sam's costume, I don't know what you call it, but the thing is creepy. Like, I mean, it's a full bodysuit. I mean, he's covered head to toe. You can't see any part of him, and it's black, white, red, I mean, it is freaky. And of course, we'll have the witches, and we'll have a vampire, and we'll have, the other usual suspects. And, we got one baby. I don't know if you've seen the Disney show Fancy Nancy. We got one going as Fancy Nancy.
No.
Well, guys, other than that, the other scary thing going on is next Tuesday. So before we'll see you guys again, we may know who the president's going to be for the next 4 years.
No, guarantee we won't.
I
guarantee
probably not. It's probably going to go to litigation.
Unless there's a landslide, one way or the other.
That's kind of where I'm at.
The only chance that we will know who the president is. If there's a couple close contested states, it's going to be 1 to 2 weeks that we have to wait for all the mail-in ballots to come in.
So here's where I think, right? I think we'll have enough votes to be able to get an idea, call the election, right? I don't think either side's going to concede. We both know that, right? Biden's going to wait until everyone's voted because Hillary already came out and said, don't concede, don't concede, don't concede. So I don't think anybody concedes. But I do think that we'll see enough votes that at least the major networks will call the race and tell us who they think wins. And I think that'll probably end up being the correct decision. But at the same time, it is going to be different because we do have a massive, and I didn't know this, but like states like Pennsylvania, they're not even allowed to open the mail-in ballots until the day of the election. That's when they can start counting. Not like Texas is opening them as they come in. They're.
I thought I thought Texas was the same way. They weren't allowed to open them until the
So
day
I
of.
thought I saw on the list that Texas was one of the states that counted them as they came in, and that way you could actually.
I mean, they might count the vote, but not actually like register. Like they say, oh, okay, we have this many mail-in votes, but they're not saying who the vote is for.
No. They're not releasing any of those numbers. Yeah, no. They're not releasing any of the results yet. They're just actually counting them and putting them in their system so that day of they can, when the polls close, they can shoot those numbers and say, okay, here they are. They've already got that stuff done. Whereas like in Pennsylvania, A, they're not going to start counting till day of. Now, B, they're going to allow to accept ballots up to 3 days after the election.
Well, I saw the one state went to the Supreme Court and they ruled that they could do it up to 10
9
days after.
North Carolina can wait, and
1 day off,
and they don't have to be postmarked or have a witness signature, meaning that if you send it in 7 days after the election and it gets there by day 9, they will count the ballot.
That to me just screams of
potential fraud,
manipulation.
Yep.
Yeah.
And notice that the states doing this are states with Democrat governors. North Carolina, Pennsylvania, both have Democrat governors, and both are states that Trump won in 2016. So I think Trump's going to have a problem if he loses either of those two states, because he's going to claim that there were issues there. It will now. The problem with it is that Kavanaugh agreed with the North Carolina decision. So there's no going back on that. Even with, now it was 5-3, even with having ACB on the court, they've got a majority that'll swing that and keep it where it is, right? So they reversed Wisconsin, and I do like that the Supreme Court is at least being consistent. They kept it in Pennsylvania because that had been the law. And then they reversed Wisconsin because Wisconsin changed the law right before the election. So they're saying they don't want to do anything that's going to make a change right before the election. They want to keep whatever was in place. And you can at least accept that as, okay, they're being consistent. But yeah, that North Carolina, 9 days after the election, and does not require a postmark date and does not require a witness signature. Yeah.
What I'm afraid is going to happen is that they're going to look at the results. They're going to go, okay, Joe Biden's down 20,000 votes, and then all of a sudden 21,000 votes are going to show up.
Yeah, I mean, at least in Pennsylvania, the votes have to be postmarked before before the day of or before the day of election.
Yeah,
they can arrive 3 days, and that's. You go, okay, well, that's going to suck to count, and it's going to be slow. But at least it's, okay, you had to vote by this date. You had to get it in the mail. There's a cutoff. There's a window. There's no cheating a postmark. But North Carolina,
no. That's actually not 100% certain there either, because we know people that can get a hold of a postmark machine and could
less likely. It at least gives us a Overton window of protection there, right? Whereas,
so the issue that we see here is that you have the left that is arguing that the Republicans are doing everything they can to suppress the vote, whereas the Republicans are sitting here telling us that the left is trying to do everything they can to cheat the vote. So I'm not 100% on either's team when it comes to that. I wish that we had plenty of polling places. I wish that we had multiple ways of voting. I wish that we had safe and secure ways of doing things. But then you see things that come out from Project Veritas with the Minnesota thing, where the guy was on,
2 days ago.
And it wasn't. I'm getting to that. Where the guy's own Snapchat video, and it wasn't Project Veritas doing this. It was the guy's own Snapchat story. He's sitting there bragging about collecting votes and how he was paying people to get the votes and stuff of that nature. And then you have everybody in the nation showing their ass and mispronouncing Bexar County. I can't tell you how many times I've heard Bexar County or Bexar County this week, because Project Veritas released released videos from down there, which is Bexar County. Anyone that's listening, San Antonio is in Bexar County, which that has some implications to one of our show's friends, Mr. Chip Roy. If the people are down there actually doing that and doing it sufficiently, then there is a good chance that Mr. Roy or Congressman Roy will no longer be congressman, and Abortion Barbie will get the nod, which would be very sad because Chip is one of those guys that you really want in Congress because he is just so fiery and so passionate, and he really cares about his constituents. Whereas Wendy is only in there to go be Nancy Pelosi's lapdog and do whatever the left says for her to do.
So, listen, I'm like you, and so the left's new hashtag, the hashtag we're seeing on Twitter is hashtag count every vote. And I think that's telling, right? Count every vote. Not count every legal vote. Count every vote. They want every vote counted regardless of whether it should count, whether it was sent by the same person twice, whether we don't know, right? Whether it was Minnesota bribery, whether it was South Texas bribery, whether it's California ballot collection, whatever it is, they want.
Oh, and then you see how many different instances of ballot boxes, like the ballot collection boxes, being set on fire.
I mean, it's the people, and that's the left has now come around to the side. It's funny because forever they told us mail-in ballot, mail-in voting, there's nothing wrong with this. It's perfectly fine. And now all of a sudden it's, don't let Trump steal your ballot. Go vote in person. It's like, wait, what? Huh? Like you guys.
They figured out, what happened there is that they figured out that a lot of these states require like the double envelope and the signatures, and that there's a lot more processes and standards that have to be met in order for those votes to be valid. And they kind of realized that their base is not that intelligent sometimes. Not all the times. There's plenty of people on the left.
I think it's also the problem that their base is very unenthused, right? So if I can do the bare,
there's more than two things you got to do.
If I can do the bare minimum and it work, then fine. But if I've got to do anything more than the bare minimum, and let's be fair, a lot of these young millennial left, they're not doing anything more than the bare minimum. So they're definitely not going to go through the process of making sure these ballots are right. And we've already seen calls for, if the signatures don't match, don't worry about it. If it's not in the correct envelope, don't worry about it. Now it's, if it's not sent in time, oh well, and it's there are rules. There are rules to how this works. You have, listen, I understand that voting is a right, but you need to protect your right. You need to take your right seriously, and you need to then to step up and take responsibility for your right. I have the right to own a gun, right? That doesn't mean I have the right to take my gun, set it on a park bench fully loaded, and leave it there for some kid to come pick up. That's not within my right to do. If I had this conversation on Twitter the other day. The guy's like, well, we need, if a guy breaks into your house and steals your gun and you don't report it stolen, you should be liable for any crimes he commits with it. And it's like, it's in my house. Like, I took every reasonable step that can be by law to protect it. If it's locked inside my house, the guy breaks into my house. Well, if it's not in a safe, so I need to keep all my guns in a safe. So what do I do for self-protection? I'm not concerned about that. It's like, now we get to the crux of the matter.
That's the real story right there. Is you don't care about me, you don't care about my family.
So
you only care about
I kept making the point
narrative.
that if I left my car unlocked and they stole my car and they hit somebody with my car, should I be liable for that? Because that's the exact same scenario. My car is my car. You stealing it is you making me a victim. I'm the victim in this scenario.
Yeah. Now, like him saying you need to report it stolen, like, are you supposed to do that like immediately or like
you need supposedly to him you need to do it before the crime is committed with it?
Well, see, that's the thing. It's like if you were to leave the city, the state, whatever, you went on vacation, which is when a lot of criminals pounce because they watch you, they monitor your habits, they know when you're not there, they look for signs. So they then break into your house when you're not home, and you have no way of knowing that they've broken into your house because you're on vacation. Let's say you take a 5-day vacation, they break in on day 2. That's 3 full days that they've had your shit, and you had no idea.
Yeah.
You're not going to know until day 6 when you get home, and that's when you would call the cops and then report everything stolen. But that's 3 whole days that the guy or gal who broke into your house has had your shit and has now had the opportunity to commit crimes against humanity using your stuff. And yeah, that's not viable.
No, it's not at all. Because I mean, I took
I can poke holes in that one fast. Let's put it that
like
way.
my guns are registered to me. Like I'm a licensed firearm owner, right? I didn't buy these from, well, and let's get it, the gun show loophole, which is debunked, right? You can't go to a gun show and just, oh, well, I'm gonna buy a gun. You still gotta do background checks there. You still gotta license the weapon. My weapons are all licensed to me.
I've never had to license a weapon, but most of mine are shotguns. But I've bought multiple pistols, and like I bought one from a cop. Like I watched the guy get out of his police car.
Yeah, well, if it's individual to individual, then if he's not a dealer,
so, like, you don't have to register. Yeah, you don't have to register.
You can. You don't have to.
Yeah,
no.
Why the fuck?
Yeah,
would you?
well, that's up to you, right? Trust me, if they come looking for mine, I mean, I'm gonna go out to
They're in the bottom.
I'm going out to Big Lake, Texas.
I had a boating accident.
Yeah, lost my boat too, guys. That's why it's not out there. Didn't want my insurance rates to go up, so I didn't file an insurance claim. So
it was an older boat. I didn't really care.
I do have one of those sitting at
I know you do.
sitting at Dad's house. It couldn't float if we tried, but
I know very well.
So anyway, I just I think. Here's where I am right now, and then I'll let you give your prediction, but I'm going to tell you where I am right now. I personally am gaining a little bit of confidence. I was rather unconfident until about a week ago, until the second debate. And ever since the second debate, I've gained confidence in that Trump is going to pull this out. I think it's squeaky, and I think it's going to be razor tight. And for me, it all comes down to Pennsylvania. It's all going to hinge on that.
I think it's going to come down to a few states, not just Pennsylvania, but Pennsylvania is definitely a linchpin.
I think Pennsylvania will be the arbiter of where the other states will go. So I think like Michigan and Wisconsin will go whichever way Pennsylvania goes.
I think it's very telling that Biden was in Minnesota because of all the riots that have happened there, of all the things that have gone on. I think that the Democrats are actually kind of afraid that they're not going to win that state.
He was going to come to Texas, and he went to Minnesota instead.
Why else would he go to Minnesota? Trump has for the most part, pulled out of Florida because I think he's confident
he was in Florida
I think he's confident he's won it. Well, okay, he has pulled most of his advertising money out of Florida and shifted it to, I want to say, Wisconsin or Michigan, one of the two.
And that's always funny to me because I saw that too, and I saw a lot of people on the left going, "Oh, Trump knows he's losing Florida, so he's just going to stop spending money there." It's like it could be the exact opposite argument. He knows he's going to win, so why keep spending money where you already know you're going to win?
Like Miami County, which has been blue, like it's looks like California blue, has actually looks like it's going to flip red. Now, don't quote me on this. I'm not saying it's 100% done deal, but the numbers for the Republicans are looking very good in Florida and in Miami especially. California, I don't believe this one. Here are the two things I don't believe. California might flip red. I don't believe it. Texas might flip blue.
That's not happening. Texas is not flipping blue. I'm sorry, guys. Like, there's no part of me that believes Texas is flipping blue. I don't buy into it. I think it's a conk of horse shit. Sean, Casey, thank you for joining us today. Make sure you're liked and subscribed to the channel. If you're on Facebook, make sure you're liking the page. If you're on YouTube, Sean, make sure you hit the notification bell because subscribing doesn't always mean so much on YouTube anymore. So, but thanks for joining us, guys. Here's where I am. I think that if Trump is able to win Pennsylvania, I think he wins Wisconsin, Michigan. I don't think they're tied, but I think that that is it's definitely we'll probably know Wisconsin, Michigan before we know Pennsylvania. It's likely because Pennsylvania will probably be closer, but in my head, like I'm not gonna relax until they call Pennsylvania. When they call Pennsylvania, for me, I think I'll know which way we're going. And good or bad, I think that's when it'll be, okay, I know there's a path for Trump without winning Pennsylvania. It does exist, especially if he's able to flip Nevada, which is looking likely. But it's harder, much harder without Pennsylvania. He has a much more narrow stretch to run. He has to keep Iowa. He has to win Michigan. He has to win Wisconsin. He needs to pick up Nevada, keep Arizona, which is not – it's looking better as of late, but it's not a guarantee yet either.
Keep Florida.
Keep North Carolina. If he does –
and Georgia would be nice.
Georgia's there too. We need Georgia as well. I mean, I don't see where he can lose very much of what he lost last year. Now – I've seen both sides. I've seen polling on both sides. I've seen guys predicting Trump with 320 electoral votes, and I've seen guys predicting Biden with 320 electoral votes.
Yeah,
I don't think it's either way that side.
I too have seen many of the snowball effect predictions, or landslide predictions. And if it's going to be a landslide, I'll go on record and say I think it's going to be a Trump landslide, because I think it's more likely
to be a Trump landslide than a Biden landslide. Yeah.
Yeah. So the reason why is because, as we've stated many times, the polling is out there. I honestly think the polling is being done on behalf of the left, trying to discourage the right. But what they forget is that the right is like they're mobilized, they're energetic, they are ready to go, they're wanting to walk over glass to get to the polling stations, they want to vote in person. They're not gonna waste their time trying to vote by mail. They're energized and they don't care what the poll says. They remember 2016, they remember what happened then, and they're not going to let the media discourage them away from voting. Now, with that said, what polling we do see is starting to slightly favor Trump, even from the left. And on top of that, the polling never does a very good job of polling the actual,
the entirety of the electorate.
Yeah, exactly. They're very good at picking up one set of people.
That's called the Bradley effect, right? Because polling by, okay, I posted this on Twitter a couple days ago, all modeling is bad, some of it's useful. All modeling is wrong, some of it just happens to be useful. Polling is useful, right? It can give you a general sense, and what it's giving us right now is a general sense that Trump is gaining. Trump is narrowing the gap. The Bradley effect is basically where people don't want to tell you who they're going to vote for on the phone. They don't know who you are. Yeah. They don't know why you're calling them.
Or they won't even answer.
Or they don't even answer the phone. So,
and then if they do answer the phone, there's so many people who are afraid. Like, they'll tell you what you want to hear to get you off the phone so that they can go about their business. And they're also afraid that, like, if you know exactly who they're voting for, then your information is going to be released. I know several people have gotten postcards here in Texas that said, voting is, while we may not know who you vote for, voting itself is a public record. And if it doesn't go our way, then we're going to come for it.
So, I mean, there's a lot of voter intimidation, and it's not just from one side. I will say that there are multiple sides. Don't be that dick, right? If your buddy wants to vote and he wants to vote for the guy you don't like, take him to vote, right? Like, help people out. Make sure we get.
My thing is, as long as you vote your conscience, and you can sleep at the end of the day knowing that you voted for who you felt was the best candidate, good on you, brother or sister. I don't care. That's your right. And now, if you want to ask me my opinion, I'll tell you my opinion. I'm a social liberal, fiscal conservative who sees both sides, sees the reasoning behind both sides, and right now I lean right based on my taxes being low, my income going up, law and order to be reestablished. And then there's a couple other things, that I would like to see implemented, but I know it's also incremental. And it's not going to take effect overnight. It's going to take a little bit of time for us to claw back.
Did you see the just announced news?
If it was just announced,
currently new endorsement for President Trump.
Was it Little Pump?
It was Lil Wayne, because he's a fireman,
nice.
man. He's a fireman, man.
I mean, I saw a Little Pump the other day.
By the way, I love Lil
and
Wayne.
like I think I sent you a tweet of an old white guy like jamming out the Little Pump, spinning his spinners.
I honestly, I'll be completely honest. I had until that moment, I had no idea that a person named Little Pump existed.
He's a mumble. He's a mumble rapper,
I figured,
which is big now.